Hi. Walking burns calories. Walking is how I stay consistent. Hi. Welcome to Food Noise Be Gone. I'm Elisa. I've lost almost 93 pounds, 87 with the support of a GLP-1. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment. These episodes drop every Saturday on YouTube at 9 a.m. and every Sunday on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at 9 a.m. Remember, if you have any questions related to your health or medical care, please reach out to your healthcare providers. I am not a doctor. These are just my personal experiences. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into this week's episode. I mentioned before, if you've been following me on Instagram, I did not expect to be out of town this weekend. The one thing that is consistent about my journey is walking. We started walking around March of last year, tracking our steps. I'll show my complete year. I started in small increments. First was just do some activity. By March, April, it was hit 5,000 steps with a goal by summer to hit 10,000 steps. I did that by the end of June. However, injured my knee twice, had to build back up to those 10,000 steps multiple times after each injury, and then again after I got COVID in September. But it is the single most consistent thing I do. Of course, I've added in additional activity in the fall, Pilates, lifting in the later fall, but walking's a staple. When I'm away from home traveling, I still get my steps in. And I hope you'll enjoy. I did little clips each and every day I went out. Many times it was first out by the hospital where my mom was for the first few days of my stay here, and then taking the lovely little Bernedoodle Starlet out for a walk. I hope you enjoy. Hi, it is Saturday. Happy Valentine's Day. And this is going to be day one of the vlog. I am currently traveling and I am actually going out for a walk right now. This is one of the things we do, and I'm not on vacation. I'm here on a bit of a family issue here in Denver. And, this is real life. We don't get to have the perfectly controlled, um, the perfectly controlled environment, the perfectly controlled diet, the perfectly controlled, daily activities where we get to go to the gym on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Here I'll be getting my steps. That's what I do. And like, that's the non-negotiable. And I will eat to the best of my ability. When I travel, I bring like oatmeal and like PB Fit and protein bars and beef sticks or beef jerky. So yeah, it's going to be all about kind of just doing the average life, not the super, you know, strict routines. These are just the things that we have to figure out how to manage when life isn't perfect and the consistency still wins. That the space and the consistency is still something that I think really works. Anyway, hi, it's Elisa. I just want to jump back on because when you're out for a walk, you see fun things like our fun little geese here. Anyway, hope everything's good. Bye. Hi, good morning. It's Lisa. It is Sunday morning, and I am stopping by um, the hospital where my mom is. And we spent the day here yesterday. We went on a 2-mile walk. I'll probably do a bit of that again today. I'll maybe tape a little more on the walk for you. Again, these are just days that you do what you can. This is a week I wasn't planning on being here, but I bring kind of core breakfast food, my oatmeal that I always post about on Instagram, and I got a salad and some chicken strips, right? the point is not to be perfect. It's just to do what you can. I had a small portion of Indian food. My sister brought some butter chicken and some other chicken variety or something. I'm not sure. I hope everybody has a great day. And look, Starbucks here. Bye. Hi, this is Lisa, and we are going out for another walk. I will see how long I can manage to hold this. It is still Sunday, and we are still in Denver, so I'm just gonna go for a little walk. I'll hopefully have you guys see the pretty scenery here in Boulder. So. Look at the geese out here. They're completely unbothered by me. It's very pretty. So I thought it'd be fun to take you guys out for the walk. It's very sunny here. Can you see the sun? Oh my gosh, look at the sun. Anyway, might be a chaotic video, but we'll see about how long we can kind of take you out on the walk with me. Not sure. We'll probably just do little parts, bits and pieces. I'm going to try to do kind of the week in the life. It's going to be a lot of walking. Maybe we call it a week in walking with Lisa. Who knows? Be interesting, because this is not normal life, but it's almost like when it's not normal is when it's normal, if that makes sense. Especially on this journey, whether it's weight loss maintenance or just, living healthy. I think being able to be like the theme is consistency, being able to just fit fit the things that aren't normal into your normal and make things not a excuse or reason to be off plan. I think that helps. And honestly, fresh air really helps. I walked 2 miles yesterday. I didn't realize I'd gone for so long. And I had to go to the bathroom when I realized I was still a mile from getting back to where I started. So, yeah. So, yeah. So here we are still on the walk. This is a fun little part of the trail or the path. I think it's a bike path, but I don't know. That's what I walked yesterday. It's really pretty up here. I wanted to show everyone. There's a little stream that runs through it. It's very much still winter here, and all the trees are very craggy and, branchy. But yeah, still think it's pretty, right? You know, this is actually Boulder area. I say Denver because that's where my sister lives, between Denver and Boulder, but we are at the Boulder Medical Center, so that is where we are. There's bicyclists going by. There's the mountains. It's very pretty. It's all just very, very pretty. We're coming up on the stream. Little bridge here. Stuff. Probably just kind of do little clips from my walks because you guys probably don't want to go on like a 5-hour journey with me over the course of a week. But I'll be going on 2-mile walks every day at least, get the steps in. Up here is the stream. I can hear it. Super pretty. See if you guys can see. You see the mountains in the background? So pretty. There's the other side. Less picturesque, but it's all good. We're another part of the walk. There's more winter trees that just look like sticks. More bicyclists going by. There's a lot more runners today. I will say that. I often ask if I should be running. I ask ChatGPT, ask my weight loss coach, or doing like the stair stepper because I'll be doing some hiking this spring and summer. I think with my knee injuries last summer and even, like, some difficulties I've had last couple of months, I feel like running is probably not in my near future. I think I'm definitely at a weight where I could sustain it now, but it'd be hard on my knees. I definitely wanna be able to sustain weight loss, and walking is my staple, so I think sometimes you just have to stick with what works. Your my thoughts from the walk. Look at can you see the mountains back here? Oh, they're so pretty. It's really quite lovely out here with cars passing by, but, Isn't it pretty? I just discovered this. This is along the creek that I was shooting earlier with all the sticky trees, but then, yeah, there's a little mini waterfall. How pretty. Thought that nugget was worth showing. Hi, it's Lisa, and this is Monday morning. We are walking the dog. So we're going to be getting our steps in together with this is Starla. She is a Bernedoodle, and we're going to go out on this fun little kind of a walk around the back end of this neighborhood. I think it's like a lookout, or look up the name later. But yeah, we're going to do that loop. And I think we'll probably do a couple miles today. We'll see. Yesterday was like a 3.3 miles. The day before was a couple miles. I just trying to get our steps in, kind of the normal thing every day. Try and take pictures when I remember food, but I literally only remembered to take pictures of lunch yesterday. So I eat the same thing for breakfast. So I'll get at least one picture of breakfast this week and go from there. I had a really good shrimp dinner that my sister made with a mango salsa and plantain chips. It was yummy, and I'm not even a big shrimp person, but, I don't hate shrimp, it's just not, like, my favorite, but it's great protein, and it was a super easy meal, so 10 out of 10 recommend. I wish I'd taken a picture. Maybe we'll post something in the future about it because I think I would make that, and I think even my husband would like it, he likes shrimp. Anyway, we'll come up, and I'll take some pretty video later on our walk when we're out at the more picturesque location. So we are out in that picturesque view. Look at those mountains back there. They're gorgeous. And there is Starla. She'll be enjoying the walk. And yeah, one of the benefits of getting steps is that we can enjoy the great outdoors. It is Tuesday, Fat Tuesday. We are out for a walk again. This is Starla. And we are going to go out on the same route. See, the day to day is actually very boring. Maybe we'll go backwards. I'll go this way first. But yeah, I'll chat a little bit about how things are going. Mom is home from the hospital. So we'll be have some work days. I still can't remember to take pictures of any of my food. It's super boring. Maybe I will post about from my fitness pal what I put on there. But anyway, yeah, we'll catch you guys a little later in our walk. Bye. Here we are out on the Link Lake Trail out here in Broomfield. There is Charlotte again. It is stunning out here. It was funny because it was a little bit of a rainy morning. Yeah, it was kind of interesting because this morning it was a beautiful sunrise. I was driving to the hospital to pick my mom up. And it was a really pretty sunrise. I should wish I could have taken a picture. And then it rained. It was dark and rainy after that, and then it cleared up. It's just, like, super normal here in Colorado. Yeah, and look at this. There's like a trail that goes down there. We're not going to go that way. We're going to go this way. Interesting because the mountains are completely sucked in. Let's turn around. Yep. You can't see the mountains at all behind the clouds. So, yeah. So we are taking a walk again. I posted a story about it like every day. But mom came home from the hospital. The expectation is the rest of the week's super normal. So I'll keep doing these little clips out. Um, Normally, I either walk on the weekends in the afternoon or I walk in the evenings on a treadmill during the winter. I'll usually walk in the evening when it's still light out as you get into spring and summer. But it's, while I'm here, if I'm working, I'll take a walk at lunch. Today I'm off because I was bringing mom home from the hospital. But tomorrow I expect I'll be walking during lunchtime to get my steps in because I don't have a treadmill or anything here while I'm in Denver. It's what I did over the holiday as well. So, yeah. I mentioned before that I'm super bad at taking pictures of the food I eat. I've had things like shrimp with mango salsa. I had Indian food. I'll post some of that. The names of some of that, maybe if I can recall. Um, I've had chicken tenders on a salad with a hard boiled egg for lunch. I had a beef chili beans yesterday from the cafeteria. You have what you have access to, and you have to try to make the best decisions. I always think about protein. I think about kind of overall portion. And I do my best to track it. I might use the AI pictures, but I usually have to kind of refine the estimates on the amount. So, you know, the food's definitely less controlled here. I have the most control over my breakfast. And then I've been eating kind of my standard fruit, granola, yogurt for dessert at the end of the day. Have my puff bars. I have some beef sticks, some chomped beef sticks that I've been having. Had some leftover Roberto ones from vacation as well. See here, you can see the trail we're on. So yeah, that is what we've been doing. I was going to mention out on the trails that I posted from earlier in the week, out by the Boulder Community Health Hospital. And these are out in Broomfield. Everything's, it's just kind of nice. You have the mountains in the background. Well, I mean, not today because everything's socked in towards the mountains, but walking's great here and a little different from Seattle where there's a lot more rain this time of year. Like I said, we had rain here for a minute and then it's gorgeous right now. So taking advantage of that, taking the dog for a walk in the middle of the day isn't a bad thing. And then, yeah, I've been able to regulate stress via walking, been able to it's one of those anchor activities and exercise. I'm not walking super fast. I'll post my splits. My splits are not great, especially when I stop to do these videos or take any pictures. My splits are kind of like, I think there was one that was over 30 minutes a mile. Normally, if I'm walking at a good clip, it'll be like 20 to 23 minutes a mile. Oh my gosh, it's so windy. And I've been walking about 2 to 4 miles, somewhere in there. I thought I'd jump back on and talk about what this trip has been like. So, because I have been waking up a little later and because I haven't been lifting, my weight is actually down. It's been pretty steady down today. It was actually a tick up, but it's down for the week to date. And, nothing subs in for sleep and time. So the shorter time, like this morning was only 22 hours since I last weighed. Not, so like I was saying, nothing subs in for sleep. And the time lapse between when you weigh yourself. Um, and I mentioned before, I just feed everything into ChatGPT every day. I'll maybe post, maybe I'll post today is in this part, and it tells me how to read the data and what to think of it. So Yeah, I think it's just really helpful to have that kind of unbiased read on things, and it also knows what your trends are since I do it frequently. It knows what we're doing, knows the day to day, and it helps kind of realistically assess the data. So, yeah, get your sleeps, get your steps. Hi, that's Elisa. It's probably super windy again. Hopefully, I can figure out the wind, the noise canceling for wind. Anyway, we are here again with Starla, the Barnadoodle. It is Wednesday, so we just have a couple more of these walks. Words of wisdom today. We can see the mountains. You can see those in the background, which is awesome. And we are on our walk today. It'll be I'll do at least a 3-mile walk today. Based on the steps I was getting around the house, we need at least 3 miles on our walk. There you can see the trail we're headed on, I think. I'm pointing the camera in the right direction. And I should just talk a little bit about how I figure out how far to walk. Usually, I depend partly on kind of my just unintentional steps moving around during the day. And then I make up the balance. And my average is 10,000 steps a day. I've been doing about 12 to 13 since I've been here in Denver. At home, I'm probably around 11 to 12 on the standard. Like I mentioned before, at home, especially in the winter, I will depend on going to the gym to make up my balance steps, except on the weekends I might get, or on Fridays if I'm working from home, whichever day I work from home, usually Friday, I will take one of the dogs for a walk and we will get some steps that way while it's still light out. It's just in the winter. It gets darker a lot sooner. And then there's the gross yucky rain. I live in the Seattle area. So that's kind of what we're doing for that. And, walking is such a simple bit of movement. Oh, look, you can really see those mountains kind of, they are in the background. I'm not sure if you could see. Maybe I will switch the camera around. Can you see those gorgeous mountains just for a minute? And then we'll go back to talking about how we choose how far to walk. So, back on how we choose how far to walk. Um, we are able to walk outside when it's still light out. When we get to spring and the days start extending, I'll be able to get more after work outdoor walks in. Otherwise, the gym and the treadmill works fine. I'll go to the gym even on days that are not lift days. And, my dogs are small, so I don't have to take them for walks. We have a big enough yard for them to run around and get their movement in. But walking is just such a simple way to get movement. It's a great low impact on like your knees and your joints to get exercise. I post my splits and I'll share some in this video as well. My splits aren't great. I was just stopped there trying to get pictures of the mountains. The mile splits don't have to be great. In Denver, I get a little uplift from it. We're mile high here, and there's always some elevation change. We just came down a hill back there. So you get some additional effort from the elevation here. At home, I do like usually a variable incline on the treadmill. So it's not quite the same as elevation because just even walking flat here is additional effort because you're at elevation and the air is a little, it's very good with all the wind and the air is a little thinner here. So it takes a little more effort, just effort on your body. Not a lot. I think ChatGPT said like 5 to 10%. So not massive, but incremental. So my daily burn has been a little higher since I've been here. Um, but I've stuck to the same calories. Right, and I remember even last summer when I was down to only, like, 8,000 steps a day around the time that I was or even just a 5,000 steps when I recovering from the injury. We still just kept all of our calories. I'll just talk with the mountains in the background. All our calories and everything else just stable. So here, while we're not doing lifting, we're still just keeping everything stable. So consistency, stability, and just doing the things, getting your steps. That's really what it's all about. So yeah, the end of the day, just getting steps is a win. And I think I mentioned, I talk about, do I need to do a bunch of other activity? At this point, I really don't want to injure myself because then it's likely that I'll be doing even less movement. So even though there's the temptation to run, I can still feel my knee injury kind of lurking in the background. I still have quite a bit of strength to build up. And I'm really trying to build core strength as well. So rather than thinking I'm going to become some sort of marathon runner or sprinter, I think I'm just going to stick with the walking, kind of just moderate pace and effort. Let the pounds keep falling off, do strength training. I might walk a 5K. I mean, I can walk 3 miles easy, no problem. And maybe take a dance class, take a bar class. I'm definitely into adding more movement. Calorie burn is real, but building strength improves your metabolism so that when you do activity, you're burning more. And that even when you're just walking around doing life, you're burning more. So I'm really prioritizing strength and cardio. Will get it from the walking, to be honest, and additional activity. Maybe in the future, when I'm feeling super fit and at goal weight, maybe we'll try running or something more high impact. I have no idea. But I mean, not mad at the walking, not mad at the views, not mad at the effort, not mad at just being able to be the person that does this now. Anyway, hi. It is Thursday, and we are out again with Starla. We are currently walking through a park going on a slightly modified route. There's a playground over here. This fun little sculptural bench here that I think is kind of cool. And let's see, just wanted to talk a little bit about how we're doing so far. We've been walking every day here. It's extra chilly today, but I will take a little cold. Just got my head wrap on over rain because you can wear a raincoat, but it's just a little more miserable to walk outside in the rain. Anywho, the doggy likes it too, and she's fine. She wears a fur coat. So I was going to share a little bit about where we were last year. You know, for the first couple months, I mentioned before I didn't add any significant movement, so the amount of steps we were getting was just what we were getting, which, to be honest, wasn't much. I'll show some graphs here from a visual perspective, but slowly but surely, once we hit, like, I think it was March or April, we started adding steps, and I think the Coachella vacation kinda kick-started more steps. By the time I got back from Coachella, it was a minimum of 5,000 steps. And then we just kept ticking up from there. When I say we, I mean my coach and I, as far as setting goals from a habit perspective. So, and it was always like, you don't do it until you can commit to it. So if you can only commit to 5, you commit to 5. You can do 6, 7, 8. You can even do 10. But what you commit to is what you're going to be doing no matter what. So that's kind of how we think of, how do you set your steps goals? It's really about what you're absolutely going to do. And if what you're absolutely going to do is 1,000, 2,000, whatever that is. Don't start too high too fast. Don't say, I need to start doing 10,000 steps right away. I worked up to it to the summer. By about June was when we hit that. And then we only had to scale back a few times because of injury. And yeah, that's what I got for today. Words of wisdom. Hi, everyone. It is Friday. We are out for a walk. You can see Starla here. Hey, hey, Starla. We're out for a walk this Friday. This will be the last day of the vlog and of walking with me. Um, yeah, it's been really interesting. I just met with my weight loss coach this morning and kind of talked about all the things talked about at how at elevation it's just a small but incremental but very real increase in activity. It's a very real increase in activity at elevation, as well as just a lot of incremental hills, which cause a change in elevation that then make this just, it's almost a little more like a training. I think a lot of athletes come out to Denver, Colorado to train because just that little bit of incremental effort, additional effort, as opposed to where I'm from, Seattle, which is basically sea level. So, yeah, so when I get home, hills will become so much easier. And yeah, just again, we're getting out every day, getting our steps, averaging probably 11, 12, 13,000 steps a day. The walks have been between like 2 to 3 miles. I'll probably put out the walks and steps each day, and I'll record a recap later today as an intro to the blog. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Lots of fun little scenery. I'll take a couple pictures when we get out to the more scenic part of the walk for today to close it out. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great weekend. And this will drop this weekend on YouTube. And I'm not sure what our topic will be next week. Maybe I'll announce it on the intro. And otherwise, have a great week. Remember, I'm back here every Saturday at 9 a.m. on YouTube and 9 a.m. on Sundays. Next week's episode is still TBD. I hope you'll join me each and every week. Thank you so much. Enjoy.